Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. I meant to say Spectre there. Thank you for your time here on ENCA. Just first of all, what does her death mean politically, looking at the fact that in a few weeks' time, the USA will be going to the polls?
Yeah, good morning. Good to be with you. And it is an extraordinarily complex political issue now. As you may recall, the court, although it is technically nonpartisan, judges get appointed for life by the president and then confirmed by the Senate. And as a result, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death leaves the court, roughly speaking, divided between the left and the right, or Democrats and Republicans, with a, generally speaking, it had been a 5-4 split to the Republicans. Now there's the possibility of it becoming much more so if, for example, Donald Trump, who is the incumbent president, follows through on nominating another person to fill this vacancy, and if the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, who is also a Republican, of course, honors his earlier pledge this week to bring the nomination to the floor of the Senate as soon as possible. That is, while the Republicans still control the White House and presumably still control the Senate. Now, if you remember 4 years ago, during Barack Obama's last year, when Antonin Scalia passed away, he had nominated Merrick Garland for the bench, and the Republicans who controlled the Senate said, "No way, we're not going to have hearings or confirmations in the last year of a president's term." Democrats obviously are now saying, wait a minute, now you have to follow the same rule you set up 4 years ago because we have an election in less than 2 months. The theory is now that if Donald Trump nominates someone, the Senate Judiciary Committee clears that nominee and it goes to the floor of the Senate. This theoretically could happen before the presidential election or in what they call a lame duck session after the election, because the new Senate would only take office on January 9th of 2021. What this means is there'll be an 8-member Supreme Court if there are cases relating to the election that come before it, and this could be all kinds of trouble and complexity in the event that there are issues that come out of the election itself. So this is now suddenly an enormously complicated political tangle, as well as the question of whether or not somebody who Donald Trump favors should even be appointed to the court in the first place.
And I was reading somewhere that actually she had told her granddaughter that she would like her replacement to be voted for by the next president. How true is this?
Well, no, it is. I mean, she had overcome broken bones, pneumonia. She had pancreatic cancer. She was hanging on about as strongly as anybody can or will in the face of her various illnesses. She was, after all, 87 years old, but she was clearly made out of some fairly stern stuff. And she had become iconic to more liberal constituencies in the country. She even had a popular film made about her life, RBG, that came out, a year and a half ago. And it portrayed her in a sympathetic and apparently very truthful way. She'd been an early, serious lawyer at a time when it was much more unusual for a woman to become a high-powered attorney. She, rather than going to the big law firms, she went to NGOs and rights advocacy groups like the American Civil Liberties Union, and then eventually was appointed to a federal appeals court seat, and thereupon she was appointed by Bill Clinton as the second female justice of the Supreme Court. And the argument is that if her position is filled by a justice of a much more conservative style than all of those painfully won rights for women, including a woman's right to choose, as it is called, abortion rights, it is sometimes called, that came out of the case of Roe v. Wade back in 1972. All of those advances will eventually be overturned by cases that are brought to the court. And there are a fair number of people in the country, a fair number, as in a majority of people in the country, who think that would be a great disservice to society and to the nation and to the future. So this is going to, the appointment of her replacement, the place that the court will have in the dealings with the issues that come out of the election, all of this is going to be an extraordinarily complicated and fraught set of issues. And here we are, the election is less than 2 months away.
Just lastly and very quickly, I mean, you touched on a lot about her legacy. Can you tell us about one of the cases that will always be remembered that she actually sat on at the Supreme Court and decided on?
I woke up late this morning and I didn't actually manage to do a full search of her legal record. But there were a number of cases that came out of challenges to Roe v. Wade, in which her vote was a strong and I think a deciding vote. You're going to have to check back with me on that when I do a full legal search on all the cases she was involved in. And I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. That is, of course, Brooks Spector, the associate editor of the Daily Maverick.